came up on my map, and it says like alternative route or whatever. And the map just jumped like 2 hours, and I just looked at Dean. I looked in the back at the kids, and I thought, oh no.
It's pretty much every single paid partnership I do, you get these kind of
haters
that are just like, as soon as it's almost a bit of jealousy. As soon as they feel like you're doing a little bit quite well out of it, they want to shut it down.
How we've got through that is definitely like making sure so that there's no resentment. It's about telling each other how you feel and telling each other when you get frustrated with each other and taking it on board. It can make a difference.
Welcome to another episode of the Fun Dad Dean and Wife Unfiltered podcast. I am Dean.
And I am Sara.
And we have started this podcast to give a true representation of parenting.
We like to give an unfiltered, realistic view of what it is like to be working parents, juggling working life, parenting, and trying to have a life ourselves.
So how have we been since recording the last podcast? We like to start the podcast with a bit of chatter about our lives since the last episode. So what have we been doing with ourselves?
Well, I've got a little bit of a confession.
Yeah.
I wasn't at a PSA meeting last night.
What were you at? I know you wasn't. Yeah, so last night you're supposed to be at a meeting at the pub, wasn't it?
The meeting was at the pub, yeah. And I mean, we talked briefly a little bit about PSA issues. That's like the school thing, because I don't have enough on my plate. I decided to be part of the school PSA. But I was a bit nervous. Do you know what? I've actually got the shakes a little bit. I'm a little bit hungover. I'm sorry. Yeah, I tried to fake it all morning, getting ready this morning, that I was okay and that I was up for this. But I'm a little bit hungover. I apologise.
Yeah, I stayed in last night, very professional. Thought we got the podcast early in the morning because we've got to do it before I start work. So I stayed in with the kids, nice and sober. And there's you. And when you came in, I'm like, you've had a lot more than one glass of wine here. Like, I can tell by your eye. Like, I can tell how much you've had to drink within one drink, I think. By your.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, 2 glasses of wine and I'm drunk. Like, that's all it takes. I'm a cheap date.
Yeah. So what have we been doing then?
Well, it has just been half term, hasn't it? And oh, what a rubbish half term. What a washout. Anyone that stayed in the UK, I feel like it's been a real topic with everybody. What a washout. The weather just is such a difference to whether you have a good half term or not.
It is in Wales.
Well, no. I think it's everywhere.
Like, we bought a caravan in Wales when it's so weather dependent. That is probably one of the stupidest. I mean, it's lovely. It's an amazing place, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you think about it logically, it's so dependent on the weather and you're dependent on Wales. So anyway, we drove to Wales, and how long did it take?
Oh, I made a bit of a mistake. So the first Saturday of half term, I was like, oh, we'll just leave then. It'll be all right. Everyone will have travelled on the Friday. The Saturday will be fine. It was not fine.
Left on midday on a Saturday with the half term the week. I was like, why are we doing this? But I didn't really question it because, let's be honest, with decisions like that, I'm not going to get you off that decision. So it took us about 7 hours. Didn't it? The junction 12 to 13 on the M4 was shut, and then we were queuing, and then it took us down some country lanes.
No, so the M4 closed, and it came up on my map, and it says like alternative route or whatever, and the map just jumped like 2 hours, and I just looked at Dean. I looked in the back at the kids, and I thought, oh no.
But did I blame you for that decision? Really? Like, if I had made that decision, how much would you have blamed me for that?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I was on the way there, I was like, look, it is what it is. We've been to Wales many times. Some journeys are good, some journeys are bad, and this just happens to be a bad one.
Well, at least I lifted the iPad ban.
Yeah.
The tablet ban. I allowed them to have that, and
so
thank God I did.
We banned the iPad last time we went to Wales, and it was the worst 5 hours of my life, one of them. So this time we were like, look, we'll bring the iPads back out, and the journey was, even though it was 7 hours, was way better for the kids.
It was, and also I did a little parent hack. I don't know if we should really share the parent hack though, because I feel it's a little bit bad on the daughters, but. Basically, obviously when we're in the car for so long and we got diverted, I had a bag of nappies in the boot, and then we were like stuck in this country lane. The traffic was so bad, and Daisy's going, I need a wee, and I was going, just get out and do a wild wee. It's fine, no one will see. But she would not do it.
No.
And then I thought in my head, the nappies.
Yeah.
She did it though, didn't she?
Yeah, and I needed a wee as well. About 10 minutes before, and I was trying to hold it. I thought, we'll get through this bit. And there was there was a tiny bottle that wasn't big enough, was it?
Oh, stop it! This is no. Oh, it was so. Honestly though, me and the girls were just cracking up.
Yeah, I tried to do it discreetly, but I get stage fright the best of times. Let alone try and do it in a car with a bottle, and it just was a fucking nightmare. Went everywhere, didn't it?
Yeah,
But,
Dean basically wet himself in the car.
yeah, it was an absolute nightmare. And then we stopped about an hour later because you wanted me to take one of the kids, I think, to get some food. Once we got going, and I remember just having it all down my shorts because.
Well, you went in the services.
Yeah.
I remember, and I said tie a jumper around your waist.
Yeah. I remember having it all just down everywhere, and I'm like, oh my days,
What a tramp.
This is a nightmare.
Well, anyway, we made it through the journey again, and it was quite. I know the weather was rubbish, but I think we still did have a good half term. But I mean, it was tainted for me, and this is a parenting issue that I wanted to bring up in like a tactful way. But when we got there, we had to overcome an inevitable, like it's going to happen at some point, but certainly not enjoyable scenario with our 9-year-old, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'd been there a couple of days, hadn't we?
No, we got there on the Saturday. It was the Sunday.
Yeah, it was a Saturday. It was a Sunday, so we'd been there a day, and Daisy's got a very good friend there, and she approached her on the caravan site and just got completely blanked and ghosted by her.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, they've been quite tight for quite a few years, really tight, and it was quite a shock to her, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not, I don't know, it's not something I was massively, comfortable talking about, because obviously it's quite a private thing that's happened to Daisy, and it's something that really upset her and really affected her. But I felt that actually we should make this decision to go ahead and talk about what's happened, because actually maybe it might reassure parents they're in the same situation, that their children aren't alone, but also maybe if anyone has any advice on what to do, if anyone's been in a similar situation to this, I really wanted to make sure that we gave Daisy the right and the best advice, because I didn't really know what to do in this situation, if that makes sense. Dean and I would talk about it, but we wanted to model the right response. So
we never stop her from seeing people that she wanted to see in this instance, was it?
It was so basically, we get there and Daisy was just ghosted, basically ran up in the park and was like, hi, expecting to have the normal hello, and it just wasn't. She just ignored her. Wasn't interested and ignored her. And I think remember Daisy saying to me, because she was really upset, I think it was more the confusion of, if you've had an argument with someone, or if you have a
reason.
There's a reason, and you can think in your head, we've had an argument, so that's why. Yeah. But the ghosting and the ignoring, it just dealt with this confusion and this, I suppose, insecurity.
I think that's worse for adults as well. They're like kids, isn't it?
Do you think?
Definitely.
Just the unknown.
If you're getting ghosted and unknown, you don't know what you've done wrong. You can get very self-conscious about that. For adults, it's a bit better because you're kind of, going through it. But with kids, it's worse. It was just
really hard, because I think if anyone out there has had their child be in a situation where I don't know, maybe as well, what's worse? Is it worse that your child's had an argument with someone as well? Because I don't know. It was just really, really hard. And then Daisy was coming in and she was crying every night and she was really, really upset, and it made her not want to leave the caravan. Yeah. But we needed to give her
and they've got a crew down there they sort of both hang around with, so that was a problem as well. Daisy didn't even want to go anywhere near any of those kids at one point because of that.
So the advice we tried to give her was very much just approach her, be like, oh, what's going on? Is everything all right? I think she was looking for a reason, but it quickly evolved that she wasn't going to get the reason. So I think it brought up some questions for me of, is it a girl thing? would this have happened with boys? Is it hormones? Is it
Oh,
growing up?
I don't think it's a girl thing. I think maybe girls are more prone to that. But even for me growing up, I was ghosted by people. I was bullied by other boys at school, and all
Oh,
that definitely,
yeah, you didn't
definitely.
have like a good school experience in secondary, did
I
you?
hated it. I hated school. But I think we're very lucky with Daisy in the sense that she can make friends like so quickly. Whereas when I was a kid, I wasn't. So Daisy didn't forget about this,
Yeah,
but she was able to move on,
she did.
make friends with other people on the caravan site, get close with them. And at the end of the day, the week was quite good. It started off terrible with that, but then because she made
Yeah.
new friends, and we don't understand how lucky we are with that with her because she can literally make
Oh,
friends.
she showed really, I think, really good resilience in that situation. But also, it raised the question for me because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, just speak to the girl's mum, speak to her mum," and I knew her mum really well, but how involved should you get in your children's arguments that they have? Because inevitably, kids are going to fall out, especially when they're teenagers. I'm really not looking forward to that, the hormones and the drama. But how involved should you get?
I think you have to let the other parent know. I don't think you go in there bombarding and go, "Oh, like your kid's done this to my kid and all this and this like that." But I think you have to kind of let the other parent know that's what's going on in a kind of
I
decent
mean,
way.
I felt more upset for Daisy than I think if someone had ghosted me, I'd have been fine. But the fact that it was her and I could see her and she was so upset and she was so confused.
And you got very little control. You got control over yourself because you can go
Yeah.
like, "I want to do this," but when it's your child, you can't go, "You're never playing with her ever again. Stay away from people like that," because they get drawn more
Yeah,
to
but it's
people
like
like
you
that.
go mama bear on them. It's like you just suddenly go so protective, like, oh my baby, my girl, what's happened?
Yeah,
But
no.
I needed to just model the correct. I don't know. It was really.
Yeah, you were pretty down for a couple of days.
It was just really hard. I just felt so bad for her.
I feel like saying to you, "Look, you can't be going around moping around. You have to kind of be like, look, in this positive mindset about it."
Yeah, like at the end of the day, it's part of life, and I really just feel for, a parent of any child who has been bullied or who has gone through something really traumatic with their child or anything like that. Because we're lucky that Daisy showed resilience and went back out there, made friends, and still ended up having a good time. But that was only because we pushed her, though. If she'd have had her choice,
She
she
would
went
have
really introverted and just would have stayed in the
Yeah,
caravan.
she wanted to hide away she just didn't want to leave the caravan. But I was like, "Look, Daisy, you've got to face this stuff head on. Unfortunately, you've got to get back out there. You have to.
I mean,
You
there's
can't
me
hide
worrying
away."
about like online abuse and her not having, WhatsApp and social media and stuff like that. When actually it just happens in real life, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, well,
So that nicely brings us on to Wanker of the Week. This is part of the show where we expose some of the trolling we get on social media, which happens in abundance. So this week is from a paid partnership video I done for a really good company called Centrum about a multi-gummy. And the comment was, "Oh no, I liked you before doing paid partnerships." And what?
no, I'm just reacting to. I'm just thinking about it.
So these sort of comments really, really get on my tits. Like, it's okay. People like you when they think you're making videos but not earning any money out of it. They want you to make loads of videos, entertainment on social media. But as soon as they know you're making a dime out of it, it puts you off them. And
I don't agree with that though.
no, not everybody, but the people that are making
Oh,
these comments.
right.
Not obviously not everybody, but this person in particular obviously feels that way because why would you like someone before paid partnerships?
But like the thing is as well, at the end of the day, what do people do the social media for? I mean, there might be some people out there that are doing it for the glory and for the attention and for all that. But let's be perfectly honest, you're doing it because you want to earn a bit of money. So don't hate on that.
I think there's multiple things here. I do it because I love making videos and I do love entertaining people on there and bringing my point across. I do love all that part of it. But obviously, if brands are going to come to you and say, "Look, we've got great products, it suits your audience, can you promote it for us? We'll give you X, Y, Z." nobody's going to say no. And it's not like I'm putting out crap out there, spammy crap. These are top brands, top companies.
You think.
No, but this multi-gum is something that our children use. It's a helpful vitamin for...
I just think as well, like, why not just let it go?
Yeah.
Like, why not just be like, oh, he's done a paid partnership, maybe. Why take the time? Like, do you not have anything better to do with your life? Like, I'm sorry, that's probably a minute of his life he's not going to get back. Every minute
and
counts,
it's not just this person. It's pretty much every single paid partnership I do. You get these kind of
haters
that are just like, as soon as it's almost a bit of jealousy. As soon as they feel like you're doing a little bit quite well out of it, they want to shut it down, don't they?
Well, just again, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's my motto. So we wanted to know what you wanted to hear us talk about and what sort of common issues all us parents have and how we deal with the issues or how we overcome them. So somebody asked, and I found this a really interesting question, and it's kind of had me reflecting over the last few weeks or so. But they wanted to know, how has our relationship been affected by having kids? Because it's never something I've really thought about. Like, how was our relationship before kids? How was our relationship with one kid? Like, how has it evolved or changed or, whatever over the years? And I thought to myself, it's really interesting. And I've actually no one's ever posed that question before. We focus so much on the kids, but actually us, how has our relationship changed or evolved or, had its ups and downs as a result of having children?
I think when we had Daisy, it didn't really get affected too much because we didn't really change. We had so much with Daisy. We had so much support around us. In sense, we had your mum. My mum lived close, so if we still wanted to go out and socialise, we did that. I think I did that still every weekend, pretty much.
Yeah.
I still had my social life in abundance.
I think to just set the context. So we've been together now for 14 years. Yeah. Mad life sentence. Would have been 17, but we split up while I was at uni. Just, had to have
the only reason?
Had to have a little bit of fun. So, and I was 26 when we had Daisy. Yeah, I was 26. I was
28, yeah.
And it's interesting that you've just said how it didn't really impact your life very much when we were having Daisy, and you were saying you were still going out every weekend and things like that, because it's not how I remember it. I was really overwhelmed having Daisy. So like I said, I was 26 and none of my friends had really had kids yet. They were very much still in the party era. When you get early 20s, it was cheap partying, going to, where's that one? What's that we used to go to? Malia, that was it. Going to Malia and things like that. And then by the time we got into our mid to late 20s, we'd evolved onto Marbella and Ibiza, a little bit more classy. But I remember being really overwhelmed when I had Daisy because all my friends are going out, having fun, and finally you've got a bit of money behind you to have proper fun and do that. And I was 26, having a kid, and I didn't really have a network to bounce, baby talk off.
Yeah, because we were the first ones, weren't we, out of our group? Because I remember us saying that our New Year's resolution was to have a kid. Remember us saying that?
I know, it's mad.
And I think we said that, and people looked at us what are you doing? And then I think by the end of January, you fell pregnant quickly with the first one, with Daisy. So, yeah, I mean, our life obviously did change. Of course, it changes immensely when you have a kid. But what I mean is, in terms of our socialising and what we did together, I don't think it changed that much.
I think that was because we had a lot of grandparents' support. Yeah. So my parents, your parents, we had a lot of support and stuff. But it's interesting that you say your life didn't change because I didn't say our life.
I said our relationship in the sense of what we did going out didn't change. But
I feel as well, I'm quite I'd like to think of myself as a reasonably laid back wife. But I do remember Daisy being 5 days old. I had a 5-day-old baby, and Dean decides that he's going to go and wet the baby's head. So off he pops with his friend Nikki. Pick up Nikki.
Everyone wets the baby's head. That's a done thing.
Yeah, but you went out, you wet the baby's head. And I remember you came, I think I was a bit overwhelmed, I just had a baby 5 days ago. And I remember texting thinking, can you come home now? I'm a bit overwhelmed, got the kid. So you decided to come home with Nikki, and you sat there, both of you, and you drank my Laurent Perrier rosé and my Verve. All people had bought me like really nice pink bottles of champagne for having the baby, and you and Nikki came back and sunk the lot.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's there to be drunk, isn't it? But I was
I
20.
feel like you two owe me champagne
I was
from
28. Like, I mean, I know that is still party season for me, really.
that. Yeah, it was. Loved a bit of party season, but I think the reason our relationship didn't really become that affected at that point then was because, like I said, we had a lot of the support.
Massive
but also,
support network,
that year we had Daisy was like, everyone has this, I'm sure. Like, you know when you get like suddenly the wedding era? Like everyone's getting married and it's the same year and you're just at a wedding like all the time, like it's a wedding conveyor belt. We had it that year when we had Daisy. So luckily...
You have got a strong memory. I do not remember
Yeah,
that.
I remember. We had like, it was like the year of the weddings. We had weddings in Wales. We had loads of different weddings. And I remember being like, my parents were so supportive and so was your parents. And they would have Daisy for like the weekend while we'd go to these weddings. So that first year Daisy was born, it's like we still had those date night kind of weekends or nights away because we had so many weddings, and I think that really helped us.
How old was Daisy when we went to Ibiza? I remember FaceTiming her. Do you remember that?
Yeah, so she was...
I felt so guilty going.
Yeah, she was about 9 months old then.
I remember FaceTiming her and I'm thinking, got a 9-month-old baby. I mean, I'm living it up on a 3-day bender in Ibiza. I actually remember crying out there, I think.
What could you miss her so badly?
I just felt bad about doing it. I mean... I don't now, looking back on it.
We wouldn't go now.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Who would have the kids
I don't regret
now?
doing it, but I think when you're out there, it's a bit like, whoa, what are we doing type thing.
But I think it's the difference for us was, that didn't really impact our relationship, I don't think, very much. It was more when the second baby came along.
That's yeah.
When Ruby came along, so Daisy would have been 4 when we had her. So I had a 4-year-old and then I had, obviously, the newborn. Sorry, we had them. I struggled more then. So I feel like the main issue then became about we got somewhere in life at different stages.
Yeah.
If you bear with me with this, and you'll know what I mean.
I know what you're going to say.
I know he's going to take offence to this, but I just don't care.
This is what it is. That's how life went.
So I now had obviously a 4-year-old and a baby, and like, you know, I found it really hard. Like Ruby was not an easy baby. Basically, she was sick every day. She had some like gastro problems, whatever, and she was sick every day until she was 2. Like I remember it was a month after her 2nd birthday. She just kind of like, I don't know, grew out of it or whatever. But she was sick every day till she was 2, and I found it really, really, really hard. And Dean was still in his like fuckboy era. Like he was just going out, getting really, really drunk, or we'd have people round. And I'd be looking at my watch at like 9 o'clock thinking, okay, everyone needs to leave now. It's 9 o'clock. And Dean would look at me like, no, the party's still going. And I remember being upstairs in bed with the 2 kids, and he'd be just downstairs living his best life. And you couldn't see at that point, could you? You could not. He just saw me as a party pooper and a bore, right? And that is what impacted our relationship for a good few years until you got to the point where I was at of day drinking is the best type of drinking. We don't need to stay up past 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think...
Took you
so from my point of view, I have got a full-time job. I've got this social media, which is turned into like a small business now. Then I come home, look after the kids before work, after work. And for me, it was like a release at the weekend to go out, get smashed. I just took too many nights too far, obviously. I mean, if they'd finished at like 9, 10, 11 o'clock, it probably wouldn't have been all right, but 4 or 5 a.m. maybe not. But now we've got to a place where I feel like they're 5 and 9 anyway. Parenting is so much easier for us now at that age. It is. I just think we forget how hard it was back then.
It was really hard. And I think having a child who is poorly or not quite as well.
Lars didn't sleep, and they're very fussy eaters, and they don't... Yeah, hard to look after for other people together now.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
Yeah. And your parents have moved away, so we didn't have that network as much to rely on. And then, you know, my sister has a baby now as well. So it's like sharing those... It's harder to get babysitters now. But I just think it was like, and then when I would have those like you say, Ruby was really hard as a baby, so I'd try and have my, you know, moments of release, or like you try and go out with the girls and things like that, and it was hard because I think you found looking after them both baby, like now you're fine having them, but I remember when Ruby was a baby.
Oh, I found it incredibly hard because she didn't go to sleep, so bedtime would be so stressful. Like she just would not go to sleep.
Yeah, because the thing is, do you remember?
And then the more stressed I was getting, they can feel it on you. And then like she's like wide awake at like 11. I'm thinking, Jesus. I used to get frustrated and text you, say, Sara, I can't get her to sleep. And I used to then be more anxious. And sometimes I just wouldn't even sleep if you were going out.
But I think that was the impact it had on our relationship, because then I started resenting you a little bit, because I'd be like, I'm
just
only
deal
going,
with it.
Yeah, I'm only going out for a few hours. Why are you texting me? Like, just deal with it. Leave me alone. Like, and then it would ruin my night out, and then I'd have to come home, and then I don't know. I think there was a period there where the kids did impact our relationship.
Yeah.
It really, really did, and I think
we were never close to like splitting up or anything like that. Well, not from my point of view.
No, we weren't. But I think
I feel like we're speaking to a counsellor here.
we're having a nice therapy session, but I think my advice to anyone out there is, because I'm not saying, how do I put it without being really offensive to you?
Oh, I don't get offended by you. I've heard it all. Don't worry.
Okay, all right. So I think what I'm saying is, I never necessarily fell out of love with you, or like, but I definitely feel like for a period of a few years there was a lot of resentment, and there was a lot of like, I think I just disliked. I never disliked you. I think what it is when the kid's young and you're stressed, it's very easy to build up resentment. And, you know, I could have thrown in the towel and been like, oh, do you know what? I don't want to be with this waste man who just goes out till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah, but
I could have done that.
I wasn't doing this every week with both of them, was I? It was just on a few nights I took way too far. It wasn't
way too far.
Way too far.
Well, there's quite a few, Dean, that took way too far. But I think what I'd say is,
I don't do this anymore, by the way. Only once a year. Maybe twice, 3 times.
With the tough times, I think in the relationship, and it wasn't ever you that I disliked. And then, you know, you take the kids out of the equation and maybe some household chores or whatever, and we do still get on really, really well.
Yeah.
But
and you feel that, so when we go on a date night, if we do a date night, you can feel like
you suddenly think, like, oh God, I do like you.
Yeah, nice.
Like you take the jobs and the responsibilities out of it. I'm like, oh, I know I do like him again. But I think how we've got through that is definitely like making sure so that there's no resentment. It's about telling each other how you feel, and telling each other when you get frustrated with each other, and taking it on board. It can make a difference, because having young children is incredibly stressful. And there was a point there where I was reflecting and I was thinking, like, do you not remember the day where we had the argument? And then I was like, do I not remember? He says we've never like nearly split up. We totally have.
What one?
When
I rang my mum.
You rang your mum, yeah. And I was like, I don't want to be with you. You're a waste man.
Yeah, no, I rang my mum.
Yeah.
Don't know what she was gonna do, but I was like, she was like, it'll be fine, Dean. I was like, it's not. It's over. She's left me. And I was like, oh my God, yeah.
I think having young children puts such a pressure on yourself that I could have thrown in the towel then. Imagine if we had split up then.
I don't think we were close to that.
But imagine.
Because I do pull my weight. I do pull my weight a lot better now.
Now, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for me, I think it was the shift. At the end of the day, I was
from my perspective, I've been at work all day, and
he's proper sticking up for himself now, isn't he?
I've got all this stuff, and then you come home and you're like, blimey, like I've got another 2 or 3 hours job to do here with the kids.
So do I.
No, I know that, but still, you're thinking, this is it, you know. Like then you go to bed and you do exactly the same again, and I feel like that's what this social media platform's given me. It's given me quite a bit of fulfillment as well, something to also focus my mind on.
But also, I think it's really good to have a platform which wasn't really around when Daisy was a baby, for actually parents to share their concerns with somebody outside their like inner circle. You know, like before you might have a WhatsApp group that you might talk on. Now, if you put something on social media or you want to get people's opinion on something, or you put up like a jokey video and people relate to it.
Yeah.
It's
if you go with your mates,
everyone's
if you go with your mates and all their husbands are perfect,
Oh, the perfect
the
husbands.
perfect husbands, and then you're like, my husband's just been out till 5 a.m, fucking useless. He's in the sofa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's the thing as well. I think what happened was you were obviously working like that Monday to Friday, but then I went back to work when Ruby was, I think, 10 months old. So that was the second one. So I'm thinking in my head, I work as well. And then what you would do as well is you don't deal well with hangovers. Like, I'm desperately
Awful.
hungover right now. I've got alcohol seeping out of my pores right now. Okay, I'm desperately hungover.
I can
But
see the sweat coming off you, actually.
I look a bit dewy.
Yeah,
But
I was worried about you this morning, thinking she's going to be terrible
What, so you
today.
knew I was hungover? I was really trying to hide it.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah, I can tell
Clammy
you a
hands.
little bit more anxious on the way here. You like sort of snap my head off about something, and then I think, oh, this is going to be great fun.
But yeah, so I think going back to the original question of has our relationship been affected by the kids, I would say it's been the biggest factor in affecting our relationship out of everything, full
It's
stop.
just so much. It's just like, you have to like summarise it. It's just so much more stress piled on top, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Of
then
course it is.
I actually feel guilty, and I feel a little bit bad because I do think in the more recent years you have tried to make more of an effort. So part of working on our relationship is obviously making time for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad because I can remember probably, I'd say it must be like between 5 and 10 occasions where Dean has arranged a date night. I remember one, there was like, he'd arranged for us to go to this fancy restaurant in London. And then there was another one, there's a restaurant called Copper Club in Cobham, like with the igloos. And Dean had arranged for us to go there. And there's loads of situations where he's arranged something posh. And then what happens is...
You just end up going, I can't be bothered, I don't want to spend the money, let's just get a takeaway, let's just watch a film, and then we've eaten a Chinese, stuffed to death, then we're on the sofa, and then we like watch like the first 15 minutes of the film, and I'm thinking, right, they're upstairs now, and you're like... I'm like, this is the date night of dreams, this is.
But that's what I needed at that point. I'm going blushing now. Particularly when Ruby was little and it was that hard time. I'd find this like opportunity to have a babysitter. And the last thing I wanted to do was traipse myself on a train up to London and then have to traipse all the way back. And I hate being in cabs as well. I hate being a passenger, like getting a cab back. I'd be like, we have to make the last train back and getting all dolled up. Like for a girl, like sometimes it's just... oh, that's so much effort, like, to get all ready and to doll yourself up. So I would just, don't get me wrong, I feel like I'm at the point now where I'd like a date night. I'd need at least 2 weeks' notice, though, just so I can plan an outfit, get ready, sort my life out. But I don't see it as a waste of a babysitter. You might see it as a waste of a babysitter, but
No,
I
as
don't
long
see it as a waste to spend some time together, even if it's just in the home, in the house, relaxing together without the pressure of having the kids there. I love that. Maybe I'm boring.
I like it when we go out in the daytime and we spend a bit of time on a bit of a daytime thing.
Yes, because as soon as if it's past 8, 9 o'clock, babes, I'm done.
Yeah, Sara's like in the evening probably the biggest bore in world history. So we go to like the caravan and then she leaves everyone's caravan at like 8, 9 o'clock and goes to bed. And I'm like, come on, like... let's just stay for a couple more hours. I do love a party. I do love a night out. I do love socialising. I think it's going to be in me forever. So I can't go home at 8, 9 o'clock. That is really, I really, really struggle
Yeah, but
with
that's why you have to start at like 2, 3 o'clock.
That doesn't help. That makes the hangover worse because all that happens to me is I start earlier. I still finish at the same time. It just means I've consumed more alcohol. I'm better off starting later. It's like at like 6. And then I'd finish at like 12, and I've only had 6 hours.
Midnight. No.
Well, not with you.
Not with me. I like going to bed. But do you mind our like date nights where you plan something fancy and then I turn around and say, no, I just want to go to the pub?
Relieved.
Oh, you
I'm
are?
absolutely relieved because it just saves me a few £100 going up to London, and I think I'd go, obviously, and I'd like to go, and it'd be good. But when you say, oh no, just stay like local pub, bit of Chinese or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with that. Long as we get to spend some time and have a laugh without the kids, because the kids, we don't get enough of that when the kids are around, especially when you take them to a restaurant or a pub with the kids. You don't laugh in there. All you're worried about is them causing chaos, aren't you?
Yeah, I just think having the kids has changed every aspect of everything we do, because it does. And I know that there might be some people who, have children and they make their children fit in with their lifestyle, but I feel lifestyles evolve over time. Like we are
I
very
think we do a
different
bit
place.
of we do a bit of both. Like if we want to go to the pub, the kids will fit in with us, but we'll go home at a reason. Stuff like that. We're not like one of these people that just stay to the pub till silly o'clock with our kids.
Oh,
Really,
no.
no, we do fit them in, but we still do stuff we want to do, and we'll take the kids, won't we?
Yeah.
It's not like we don't. Know what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're trying to say. We still take them, but it's just stressful. It's like same shit, different location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like holidays.
Stressful wherever we go.
Just like holidays.
I think the worst thing we could probably do for our relationship, knowing how you get in the baby stage, is to have another baby. Because for us, the baby stage for us was I think predominantly for you, was the hardest stage. And
yeah, if anyone's out there in the baby stage and thinking, oh my God, this is horrendous, don't worry, I felt exactly like that. I didn't enjoy the first year, maybe 2 years really, of either of my kids. Obviously, I love them. You love them dearly. But in terms of enjoying the parenting side of it, it's not that enjoyable. But when they're like...
Oh, is that why you were just out on the piss till 5 o'clock every morning? Because you just didn't want to come down to
That's probably what it is. That's probably the release I needed. Now the parenting side is a lot more fun, a lot easier. They're 5 and 9. You have a good laugh and they almost become mates. Play them in the garden, decent games. It's so much more fun as a dad when they're that age. And maybe I don't need that release till silly o'clock because I don't do that anymore, do I? I've got no interest in doing that.
No.
Absolutely none.
I think you've learnt as well that sometimes the hangovers just aren't worth it.
You feel so guilty as well when the kids are coming up to you trying to play with you and you're like on the sofa and you're like, I am useless. And all you've done is taken a night too far that the last 3 or 4 hours you don't even remember anyway, just chatting shit. And it's like, what have I done? It's the guilt side. The mental side of the hangover is worse than the physical for me. The physical side, I'm over it by like 11 o'clock. It's the mental anguish, the anxiety I get is incredible. And then I can't sleep that next night because I've still got the anxiety from the hangover.
You get like 2-3 day hangovers.
Yeah.
The thing is though, I won't. I feel like I just push through today. Like I'll get loads done today. Yeah, I won't let it stop me.
You're not an anxious mess like me.
No.
You don't get anxiety. No. You had a little bit of it this morning, I noticed, when you're in here. I could see you miles more tense than you normally are. So you must get a little bit.
Maybe. I think it's just lack of sleep for me. Although I still was home by 10 o'clock. But anyone, like, I didn't stay till closing. I left everyone in the pub
and you were
went
snoring
home.
By 20 past.
Was I snoring?
Yeah. Oh, you go when you've had a drink, you go back on your back like that, and you have a right old snore.
Thanks for sharing that with everybody, Dean. Appreciate that. Me snoring like a pig.
Got a nice video of it.
Stop it.
Not of last night, but of previous times I have.
Great. Keep those on your phone.
So on that note, I think we need to call it a day because you are sweating profusely now.
God, not that bad. I only had 3 glasses of wine.
So I reckon we need to get a little date night in the diary. What do you reckon after that discussion?
I think yes, but nothing. If you're going to take me on a fancy date night, I need the notice.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can't.
What about a local fancy one? That'd be good.
Okay, let's do a local Oh, hold on a minute though. The last time we did a local fancy date night was on Valentine's Day. And what happened? Go on. I can see you squirming.
Got slaughtered.
No, we went to Galoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got I basically had to. This is our fancy date night, Valentine's Day. I had to carry you almost out of the bar. And then we went home.
The barman was giving me free tequila shots just for
fun.
Just for fun. And that, yeah. So, but if anyone lives in the Surrey area, please let us know any good recommendations.
Yeah, nice little date night vibe in Surrey. That would be good. Yeah. But don't be. I'm not carrying you out again in the date night. You limit yourself to not 14 drinks he had.
Yeah.
What a waste, man. Okay, so date night on the calendar. Let us know where to go.
As always, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good few weeks.